Hello and welcome back to my channel, sweetie. So, welcome to episode 2 of Views. As you have seen by the thumbnail, that today's video is about toxic masculinity. Girl, there's a lot that needs to be said about this topic, but firstly, before I get into that, thank you for all the support that you have shown to my channel. And to episode 1, I got a lot of feedback, people thanking me for talking about it and for sharing my experience, kind of. Yeah, I hope that this episode is going to get the same reaction and maybe even better than the last time. But anyway, so to get into today's video, so we're going to be talking about, I'm going to be talking about toxic masculinity. Now, a lot of people have their own definition of what toxic masculinity is. For me, it's masculinity in general and the impact that it has on both boys and girls from a young age and as adults, people of of the world. So I feel like masculinity is something that's forced upon people. Like growing up, like my earliest memory of masculinity as a characteristic being posed onto me was being told that boys don't cry. Now, I have an issue with that, obviously. So for me, people don't really understand that when they come up with these standards, if you want to call it, they don't realize that it has an impact on someone's growth and that it will have an impact, be it negative or positive, on someone when they get older and become their own person. Now, something I had to learn was that boys don't cry is obviously a lie. I mean, if your mother dies, you're gonna cry. If your Oma dies, you're gonna cry. So what kak is also boys don't cry? Sweetie, please. That is just the first thing of how they try to train you to become a man. Now, that don't work by me. Because people forget that a boy is also a human. Humans have feelings. Humans need to feel. If you tell a boy that he can't cry at a young age, say for example he's maybe 10 years old, that's usually around the time when boys start reaching puberty, you tell him boys don't cry, men don't cry. Now, that forces him to block off emotions. That forces him to not feel. That in turn makes him not able to deal with emotions or certain situations. Situations when he gets older. And he'll eventually start channeling it in a different way, be it negative or positive. Positive in a way that when he does feel those emotions, maybe he'll go clean the house or, I don't know, fix a car or something, or go draw or sing, dance, I don't know. In a negative way, he could become aggressive because now he doesn't know what to do with all of this emotion and it's building up and he's not sure on how to like move it out of him and how to deal with it. So becomes aggressive. That in turn causes domestic violence, rapists, murders. I don't know what else you want to call it, but I'm not stereotyping men do bad things, but statistics have shown. I mean, I'm no psychologist, but I mean, honey, I've seen it happen. a lot of times. So yeah, like, stop telling boys that they can't feel. Like, stop with that thing of, to be a man, to be masculine, you can't show emotion. No. I personally think that if a man is in touch with his feelings, that shows that he has empathy, that shows that he cares. It creates a different trait in him that would, maybe help in the future, maybe get him a better woman. And also, I think that by telling this, also, I've experienced that if you tell someone that they shouldn't cry, that they shouldn't have, feelings or whatever, like, it's, when you tell them that, they don't know how to deal with the emotions, and they don't know how to communicate the emotions, and so they channel it into other things, or they break your heart, or whatever the case may be. But if you tell them that it's okay to feel, it's okay to cry, we're human, there's empathy, there's care, they know how to, maybe he'll even treat you better. Raise a man for his wife, not for your own needs. Or raise him for his husband. I mean, heterosexuality is not the norm. Sweetie, it's not. Another thing that I feel is something related to toxic masculinity is the norm of patriarchy. Now, sweetie, as you can see, feminist, I don't believe in patriarchy, because it's like, why does the man always have to be the head of the house? Y'all gonna come at me for this and tell me that it's emasculating. Are we not dealing with the topic now? Like, why do we always have to see to the man as the breadwinner? Why do we not allow for female empowerment? Why do we not allow for women to explore positions of power, or to be in charge of things? Why do gender roles have to be a thing? And when it comes to gender roles, masculinity plays a huge role, because masculine, people take it as, people use that, they take that word as authority, basically. Why should you feel that you have authority over me? Because, sweetie, if I cut you open, you're also gonna bleed red. You don't bleed gold. We are the same. When we die, our graves are the same size. So why should you then be put in a higher position than me? If we've got the same qualification, if we've got the same work experience, just because you're a man, you'll probably get the job over the woman, because of that standard of patriarchy and toxic masculinity. Systemic masculinity also. Systemic patriarchy, if that's a thing. I'm just coming up with it now. But yeah, it makes sense, because it's a system and a wheel that needs to be broken. Now, another thing, I think this is possibly my biggest issue with masculinity, aside from it being forced onto people, is that within the gay community, there is a lot of, you can kind of call it shaming, if you're too feminine, if you aren't manly enough. Now, I understand that certain things can be preference, but I personally feel that if you have a preference, or feel uncomfortable, especially when you feel uncomfortable around a guy who's a bit more feminine than you, it's because you are insecure. You're insecure about yourself. You're insecure about people seeing that you're not this person you're trying to portray. You're hiding behind this shield of masculinity, and that you don't want people to know something about you. That maybe you... Okay, let me give you an example, or a scenario rather. Firstly, you're gay. You're an athlete. Maybe you're a soccer player. You captain of the team. You watch sports all the time, but you also enjoy watching RuPaul's Drag Race. But you don't want people to find that out. Why? Because you're masculine. No, I don't believe in that. Yes, we all have preferences, but stop with the shaming of people who are a little bit more feminine than you. Everyone has femininity in them. Even men. Men also produce estrogen. Boom. Yes, sweetie, you have estrogen production inside of you. Just your testosterone is stronger. So chill. Gaan sit op 'n stoel en koop vir jou pakkie chips. You are not the girl. Anyway. Yes. Toxic masculinity needs to stop. Like, there was another form of masculinity I wanted to talk about, but I went blank. I can't get to it now. Fragile masculinity. That's what that's what I just explained. That's what I was getting at, yeah. I feel like fragile masculinity can also lead to men feeling that a woman, like seeing a woman as a threat, especially within the workplace, or even in a household situation. If you feel that a woman has too much power and you lash out at her or whatever, that is fragile masculinity. Everyone has their own definitions, but for me, I define things from what I see. And on the topic, as an actor, I've also come to learn that you need to feel. You need to experience emotions. You need to go through the trials and tribulations. You can't just go and act. You can't act. You need to be. That's one thing that a lot of people forget. Don't act. Be. Become. Feel. And I think what I've noticed that with a lot of people that I have studied with and that I've gone through training with is that because of how they were raised with that toxic masculinity and characteristic or trait of patriarchy, that a man can't cry, a man can't feel, they struggle then within the workplace, within the industry, to feel, to fully become a character. And at the beginning, yes, it was difficult for me until I was like, nah, fuck it. Like, girl, my work comes first. My craft comes first. And I think that learning how to feel is the first step at bettering your craft. Is bettering a word? But anyway, it's the first step to enhancing your craft. It's the first step to becoming better at your craft. And if we keep telling kids, boys mainly, don't cry, don't feel, you're a man, you're not supposed to X, Y, and Z, they're never going to get to that point. And like I said earlier, it's going to affect them when they get older. So please stop with forcing masculinity on children. They are children. You can teach them about it, yes, because who doesn't love a masculine man? But you also need to allow them to feel. Allow the child to experience emotion. Allow them to grow spiritually. Make them soully sound so that they can be better people when they're older. Because if you're going to tell someone you can't cry, they're not going to know how to feel. They're not going to know how to deal with emotions when they're older. That can also lead to suicide. I've seen it many times. People not knowing how to deal with things, leading them to go the pits. So, yeah. I hope that my views have shed some light on this topic. Also, if you, like I've said in episode 1, if you have something to share, or just your own thoughts in general, that you'd like to, tell me, share with the rest of us, comment down below, sweetie. Let us know what your views are on toxic and fragile masculinity, and how you think as a society we can change that, and how we can change the systemic growth, the systemic teaching for children, and how also in that we can help people who are maybe adults overcome whatever it is that could have been caused by patriarchy and forced masculinity, forced authority. Is that a thing? I don't think that's a thing. But anyway, yeah, just let me know, comment down below. But yeah, thank you for watching this video and for listening to my ranting. Yeah, that's the end of episode 2. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, honey. Don't forget to check the links in my bio. Don't forget to comment. Let me know what you think about this video. Give me your views, everything. I want to know. And also what else you want to see on the channel after the series. So there's 1 episode left. That will be next week. So yeah, see you next time. Bye.